Hello, viewers. My name is Omoyele Shore, and we're reaching you live from Sahara TV in New York City. All of you must have heard about the big merger of political parties in Nigeria. Several political parties came together last week to form one single organization known as the All Progressive Congress, APC. Uh, we have been looking at this and talking to people, and we've also received a lot of emails and inquiries from our viewers and our fans on Facebook and Twitter to dig deep into this, to find out from those who might know what is different this time around from the previous mergers that preceded general elections in Nigeria. And today we are lucky to have one of the most prolific and renowned commentators on Nigerian public affairs, a pro-democracy campaigner, and political activists whose activity in within Nigerian political space has been around for almost 27 years. And have, with due respect, Yinka Odumakin online by Skype from Lagos. Hello, Mr. Odumakin.
Hello, Sarah reporters. Thank you for what you are doing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Let's just go directly into this. You witnessed this. You have heard about it. There's a merger of all kinds of political parties that took place last week. What is different this time around? This is the main question for some of you who have been monitoring this and who is aware of what's going on. What is different this time from, say, the merger in 2000, the merger in 2003, the merger in 2007? All those mergers have preceded the previous elections. What is different this time around?
Well, I think what's different this time around is that, unlike the previous attempt, where all they tried to do was to do kind of alliance, which never worked. What they're trying to do this time around is to do a merger, to lose their identities, surrender their existing certificate to the Independent Electoral Commission of Nigeria, and then form fuse into the new party. So that is the different time around from what has been happening in the past. But the personnel who have behind the merger, the faces and actors are practically the same as those who have tried to do this in 2007 and 2011.
One thing that people keep asking about this merger talks or coalition is the role of the ruling party itself. It has been suspicion in the past that when merger talks are happening, coalition talks are happening, the ruling party, meaning the People's Democratic Party, has been in power since 1999, would sponsor politicians from their own group to go into these groups and pretend as if they are part of a progressive movement. And when the time comes, they use the same politicians to destroy the opposition parties. It happened to the Alliance for Democracy. It happened several times now. So is there anything in place to prevent the infiltration from the PDP this time around, do you think?
Well, I think if you look at the faces in the merger, politics in Nigeria is so fluid. There are people who have been in virtually all the major parties between 1999 and now. For instance, the leader of the Action Congress of Nigeria team to the negotiation, Tommy King, was the man who was the returning officer when Obasanjo was going for second time in 2003. He was the one that did the Obasanjo and Obasanjo, And when you look at today, ABGA, for instance, which is supposed to be one of the partners in this merger, you can see the schism that's already taking place within ABGA. Governor Peter Obi of Anambra State has associated himself and the rest of his team from the negotiation team from the merger, saying that it was a unilateral effort by Governor Rochas Okorocha of Imo State. And various actors in ABGA have issued statements dissociating themselves from the merger process. 2 weeks to this merger, it was all over the news that the governors of the MPP governors are being wooed by the presidency through the PDP chairman, so that they could cross over to the PDP with Mude Sharif, who was former governor of Borno State, and the former governor of Zamfara State, Yerima, who has now almost crossed to the PDP. So people are still weary at this time until they see that this is finally consummated, and there are still that weariness that, because like I said, the personnel policy is so fit, and you cannot differentiate between the political parties really. And that's why we can move from one party to the other. So People are skeptical, people are watching. Those people desire that we possible for the reformist wing of the reprobate Nigerian political class to come to power and change things from the current looting that's going on in the country. But they are watching to see what will happen.
Okay. You've mentioned several instances and characters within these major talks, within the major situation going on that have been through all the political parties. The next question one would like to ask is to find out correctly, how do you bring back together all these people of different political and ideological background? For example, you mentioned we had Tommy Kimmy, who used to defend the military when Ken Saro-Wiwa was killed. His entire career in recent years has been to fight against even the pro-democracy movement of which you and I were part of. How do you reconcile with this type of characters? And then, without forgetting that in the past, the ENPP once fielded General Buhari, and Shekarau, who was the leader of the ANPP at that time, one of the major leaders and promoters, did not support Buhari during the election. They went behind his back and sold out. Even in Lagos, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, senator, did not support Nuhu Ribadu, who was their candidate. Last minute, they went and sold out, which is well known that they did all kinds of deals. How can we trust that these same characters will not come to this mega party that is now known and referred to and do the same thing? You know, are you going to swear them to some kind of oath?
Well, if given what's the background of many of the actors in this enterprise, it should be a kind of a miracle of the eighth wonder of the world if this is successfully put through, because there are quite a lot of serial betrayers, the opportunistic wing of the Nigerian political class. And like you said, when Buhari, for instance, want to leave the NPP, it was because of the opportunism that was the lot of most of the guys who were players in the party. That while he was still at the tribunal, they don't had his case, while they already negotiated the ruling party, a kind of unity government. And for just mentioned 2011, how the body could not even get any of the ACC states except Osun State. I was under the boss overnight. So, and we're at a crucial juncture in Nigeria, where the people of Nigeria are yearning for change.
Yes.
Fed up with the 14 years of PDP, but there isn't much cause for excitement yet, because when you look at it, in the last 14 years, Nigerians have cried about the outrageous allowances that Nigerian legislators collect. But virtually all these parties have members in the National Assembly who have been there for over the years. They have never opposed, not one of them has opposed the outrageous wages they are collecting while the people are suffering.
Yes.
Now we talk about that PDP rigged election at the center. Most of these people have also controlled states because the state control local government elections in Nigeria. The elections they have conducted into their local government have been worse in some cases than what the PDP does at the center. We had a situation where people conduct elections, they rig elections, they still have figures, for people to go to court and challenge the results. But some of these characters, they have conducted elections in their state that up to now they have no results, no figures to show that it was the party show, which tells us that perhaps if they have the kind of space that the PDP has, they will do the same thing or do worse. Now we talk of the question of corruption in the country. A lot of these parties, parade characters, who either have been charged by EFCC or have been handled by EFCC for corrupt enrichments while they are in power. So then a lot of them also have been governors, have been this and that in many states in the last 14 years. What have they done differently from what the PDP is doing? So these are the critical issues that people are asking. And not now. All we are hearing is that, we are banding together because we want to remove the PDP. Fine. You are against the PDP. That is good. But what do you stand for? What are you bringing to the people? What visions? What values? Is it business as usual? Is it a fight of deep pocket that, if you can gather money and fight PDP money for money and continue the same process that has put Nigeria where it is today, that in the last 14 years, between now, 1999 and now, every indices has gone bad for the people of Nigeria. For instance, in 1999, the poverty in Nigeria was 45%. Today, we're over 70%. Yet, Nigeria has made more money between 1999 and now than any period in history. And most of the characters has presided over the looting of funds in different states across the country. Now, today, our infrastructures are broken down, our schools are gone, no amenities are down. So we need to see clearly what the new coalition wants to do, the new march want to do. That's different from what I've seen in the last 40 years, and that's the critical issue.
I mean, do you think that the social media space is in any way going to help the next election? And this is a different question entirely, because it's now a lot of activities on on social media circuits. People are talking on Twitter, on Facebook. They're pushing stories. They're shaming and naming corrupt politicians in Nigeria. And people are yearning for change. They're yearning for change. And last January, we saw Occupy Nigeria, and then that fizzled out. There doesn't seem to be any physical opposition from young people anymore at this point. Do you think social media will play any major role in the next election? Or did it help at all in these mega party discussions at all?
Well, social media is going to play a very crucial role because most of the young people now on the internet 24/7, in spite of the failing infrastructure in Nigeria, they still find a way to find themselves to be on BlackBerry and Twitter and all kind of thing. And I think that issues have been raised, issues have been posted. Even when you had the Occupy Nigeria movement last January 2012, it was very clear that the social media quietly helped. And the advantage of social media is that you cannot gag them. You cannot censor. You cannot bribe, because it's like every citizen is a reporter wants to have the facility. And the young people in Nigeria, they are angry. Their future is being destroyed. They have no present. Today we have a country where what Fela said, Fela in 1990 sang a song which he did not record, where I was talking about the fact that if you are not careful, university graduates become mullet drivers. Today, PhD holders are driving truck for Dangote. That is where we are today, and people are angry, asking questions. And in recent time, what has shown the tempo of the anger was the slap on the wrist that was given, to the person who stole at 2 billion naira and was just asked to pay a fine of 2,000 naira. And you could see the way the people reacted in the newspapers, on the social media, in particular on Facebooks, and it was all kind of things were coming up. And that is why it's clear that social media will play very critical role in the next elections in terms of setting agenda. And people have become so much distrust. They don't trust the politicians anymore. They have failed and betrayed them over the years, and people are now asking questions, and they're not going to take anybody on the face value. And that's why the question of we're against PDP is not just enough. They are going to be asking questions. What do you stand for? They are going to inquire and probing into their past activities. What have you done where you had the opportunity to serve the people? Have you used power to oppress the people, to enslave them, to make them poor? Have you taken advantage of them? Because we know those who are barely paupers in 1999, who today are billionaires, multi-billionaires, who have done nothing and just been in office, and are using that money now to finance themselves to take political power at higher stage.
Yes, we have a little technical issue there, and we'll try and see if we can bring back Mr. Odumakin.
Hello?
Hi, yes, sorry, we got disconnected and we wanted to continue quickly. And I want to go to the last lap of this interview, which is talk about candidates. Is there any, are you looking at any candidates right now? Is there anybody who is in the horizon who we can look at differently, who might be possible candidates for the for the mega party? So I was looking at Nasir El-Rufai yesterday. He launched a book, I think yesterday, I think it was yesterday. And he, at the book launch, he cried. And to me, I just look and laughed and say, each time people want to run for office now, they just they shed crocodile tears, So, who are the people we should be looking at? I mean, I know you don't really have to decide this now, But in long time, maybe people will have a chance to look into the tunnel and look at the candidates that we should be considering or who might be popping out of different corners, even from the mega party or not the mega party, because it looks like even the People's Democratic Party is about to implode.
Oh yes, well, somebody sent me a text this evening. I was saying, look, with the merger between AMPP, CPC, Afghan, and the rest, it's as if the PDP is now set to merge with INEC.
And the Nigerian police and Nigerian army.
Yes, and I merge with all of them. But on most serious note, I think that while people have always said that the PDP is going to implode in 2003, 2007, 2011, we are going to 2015. I don't think the PDP will implode as such because the stake is too high. The PDP control the oil, law, the resources, everything, and the rest. So some of their members, they are going to fight before the elections. But once they're able to get hold of the space, whoever take it, they will not go. I mean, I took all of them at the 2011, so I see they are going to leave PDP. They came back because that's where the honeypot is. That's where they get all the appointment. That's where the oil block, everything, allocation is taking, fuel subsidy is taking place. So I don't think that the PDP, whatever is left, they still put themselves together. And if the new coalition, new marriage party is basing its strategy on the fact that PDP will implode, that's a wrong strategy. They will not. Because what bind together ideology and anything, the money they are sharing. And as long as 2 million barrels of oil is used so daily, and they're taking the stock of it, they continue to do that. Now, in terms of the merged APC, I think that that's where all those who support the party play very hard, because I could see the way clash of ambitions is going to throw up. Because most of the frontliners there, and we saw that in the Second Republic, as an attempt, to have the margin of UPN, NPP, PRP, and the rest of them, it collapsed. And from the what's developing, even before this merger, we see that a clash of ambitions will come at some point, and because there are so many elements who want the same prize, I know that in their conference, the stake is always too high. So I pray for them that they're going to manage this, but it's very, very turbulent.
Let me ask you the last question. If this merger doesn't work, then what?
Well, there are two things. If the PDP, I'm sure they will not rest on their powers now. The agents who are within the merged party will do all kind of things to ensure this does not work. So if this does not work, because there's some little hope that this has raised, that some people are thinking that, if you can have the reformist wing of the political class coming to power, maybe things will change. If this doesn't work, then the people will totally lose interest in the possibility of using the ballot box to effect a change, and that rather they will be better off to take their destiny into their own hands. And if this succeeds also, there's a second leg to it. If the issues I've raised earlier are not addressed in terms of where they stand, the question of affecting Nigeria today, and also the question of the excessive spending on overheads, the level of corruption in the country that's killing the country, if that's not addressed, at the end of the day, people find themselves in a way where, they said they didn't want Shonekon, but they got Abacha, and Abacha was worse than Shonekon.
Well, Comrade Yinka Odumakin, thank you so much for coming on SaharaTV, and we hope you'll be back very soon to do more analysis as we approach 2015. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right, viewers, it's been SaharaTV talking to Mr. Yinka Odumakin out of Lagos to talk about the merger of several political parties into what they now refer to as mega party in Nigeria. So don't go away. We'll be back with more programs.
If you're not informed,
if you don't know where you come from, you will never find where you're going.
When Nigeria is working, we will all know.
PDP and us are diametrically opposed. I am from Sahara TV. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Education.